Hey everyone, this is Gabe and Adam, co-founders of Braintrust. We wanted to take a second to just record a quick video and share a little bit of the highlights from last week and also answer some of the common questions that we've been receiving. But first, many of you are kind of new to this project and new to this program. So we want to take a few minutes to just introduce ourselves, and then we'll actually kind of hop into some of the questions. So Adam, maybe you could go first, just kind of give a quick intro on yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody. Adam Jackson here. I'm a co-founder at the Braintrust project. I'm actually a software engineer by training, kind of turned entrepreneur. Braintrust was my fourth venture-backed marketplace project. The first, I've had 3 successful exits and one about to go public with Dr. On Demand. I'm also the founder of a crypto asset management firm called Cambrian Asset Management, and have been working full-time in the blockchain space since 2016.
Awesome. Gabe here. I've been a founder here as well. My first marketplace was a company called Modernize, which we scaled to about $75 million in sales. And then it was acquired by a company called Quinn Street. After that, I advised, invested, and consulted with 45 marketplaces, including Uber and Thumbtack and many others. And both Adam and I have been investing in crypto since I think 2013, and have actually been friends for almost 14 years. So this is an incredible opportunity to be able to work with your best friend and also work on an incredible new technology. I wanted to just take a quick second to just remind everyone of why we started this. From the moment that we started this back in 2018, the mission of Braintrust was to distribute economic opportunity more equitably around the world. And we felt that one of the best ways to do that was by creating a user-owned and operated network that helped, incredible talent to connect with Fortune 1000 brands, and actually be owned and operated and controlled by the users and the community. And so that was the vision back in 2018. Not a single thing has changed about that since, and we refer to that as the ownership economy.
And so let me give a quick background on the Braintrust project itself. Our big idea here was to prove that user-owned and operated marketplaces would grow faster and be more valuable to their users than investor-owned marketplaces. And if you rewind to Web 2-enabled marketplaces like Yelp or eBay, all the way up to the gig economy marketplaces like DoorDash and Uber. Those are investor-owned companies. They're for-profit entities. Their job is to extract as much value out of every transaction that goes through their network in the form of transaction fees. What that does is it creates misaligned incentives between the users who make their living on the network, whether that's someone coding a project on Upwork or building a logo on Fiverr or delivering food on DoorDash. It creates this misaligned incentive between that person that makes their living on the network and the for-profit corporation whose job it is to take as much of that person's income as possible in the form of a fee. And so we thought, look, there's got to be a better way. Why not, instead of being owned by investors who extract value, why not have it be a nonprofit owned and operated by its users? And so if you're owned by your users who make their living there, why would you want to tax yourselves? Why would you want to charge high transaction fees to yourself? And so this is a new network model sort of enabled by a new technology, and that's the blockchain token. So quick background, Gabe and I have been working on this since 2018.
Yeah. We kind of did it in a very different way. I mean, I think that's an important thing for a lot of new communities to understand. Maybe you can kind of explain the logic there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so there's a lot of brilliant ideas in blockchain that they're like, hey, here's a better way to build a banking system or a money system or a trading system or even a user-owned marketplace. And what they do is they build all the software and the smart contracts and they put it all on the blockchain on day one, and it's decentralized from day one and kind of hope for the best, right? And the problem is it's actually very hard to build businesses when you're completely decentralized from the beginning. So what we did was we inverted that playbook. We built a real business with real talent and big clients like Nestle, Goldman Sachs, Nike, with this new disruptive fee model because it's owned by our users. It's a nonprofit, right? So the two sides of the marketplace were able to find each other, and really marketplace GSV grew quickly. We raised a minimal amount of money in 2018 and 2020, Coinbase Ventures, Acme, Blockchain, Hashkey, Pantera, even Piero Midiar, who was a founder of eBay, loved this idea so much. He purchased tokens early, but these are all early backers who really saw the vision of use their own networks. And so we, built the giant marketplace and then put it all on chain after we had the liquidity flowing. So that was kind of a unique path for us.
Totally. So I think a couple of kind of milestones that we can share there. I mean, you shared a little bit about like the early backers, which was great. So like in 2020, we did, that was our first year of like being an invite only beta. And we did about $3.5 million in gross services volume in 6 months in that period. And then in 2021, the network grew over 10x and pacing to do around $35 million of gross services volume. So again, our focus was, I guess, a little different than the way in which a lot of the crypto projects happen, which is we wanted to build, a really valuable network and one that had a huge amount of transactions and providing utility to both sides of the network. And so we spent a lot of time in, I'll say like private mode doing that. And then we launched on mainnet on September 1st. And then right after that, there was a coin list sale for a community sale on the 2nd that ran through the 9th. And then obviously, a lot of folks saw that we raised about $11 million from 23,000 backers around the world. And then shortly thereafter, Coinbase, the US largest exchange, picked us up on the 15th. And also other exchanges picked us up, like obviously Uniswap and Gate.io. And some others here. So that's kind of like what takes us up to present day. Adam, maybe you could take a second, just kind of talk about like last week. Obviously a huge amount of growth last week for the community. Maybe you can just highlight maybe a few things.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, bringing this giant marketplace, moving it from testnet with the testnet token onto mainnet, was giant news, right? It really brought the project into the forefront, especially being validated by, a partner like Coinbase that, endorses what we do and says basically like this new model of users owning a marketplace is something that we think, will be really big. And so what that did, it blew up our community, our social channels, our Discord grew 14-fold. Our Telegram grew 40x, is now over 115,000 members. Twitter, Braintrust Twitter handle received over 105,000 mentions. Yep. That literally broke Hootsuite. Seems like it's not that hard to break Hootsuite. One might argue it's been broken for a while, but and we saw 15x growth in a matter of days, with now hundreds of thousands of followers across the various accounts. Continued client growth and expansion. Braintrust found product market fit early on, simply because the fee model is so disruptive, right? You charge no fees to your talent, and you end up attracting the best talent, and then that attracts the best companies. It's a really simple model. But and then the exchanges will continue to create secondary pools for the token. Obviously, the price of the token, the cash value, is meaningless to our network. Our network runs on one token, one vote, bid staking, the Braintrust Academy, stuff like that. So the cash value of our token is not important, but it's been a really fascinating couple of weeks here for the network.
Yeah, we just saw like not only a huge influx of kind of the talent side community, but also on the client side. Last week, a few hundred new clients came in. A couple of big names: Honda, WeWork, and Cisco were a couple that kind of caught my eye, as well as Logitech, huge technology company as well. I mean, something really interesting happening right now, which is like these big enterprises are moving a lot of their workforces and also looking for talent distributed all around the world. So that continues to be a huge driver, and I think something that really separates this project from other crypto projects that maybe don't have that same kind of enterprise adoption. Let's address a couple of the questions. Like obviously we've just been completely slammed this last week with all of these announcements and so many different things going on. I'm surprised both of us are still standing, as we were working around the clock basically for this last month. But there was some questions that we got from the community here that I wanted to make sure we try to address. We'll also get these into the FAQ as well. One of them was, how are tokens locked up for different participants?
Sure. So this is covered in the white paper, but I'll kind of summarize it here. So there's early token purchasers. These are some of the venture firms and things like that that thought this was a good idea for a protocol. Those folks are locked up for 2 years.
2 years from this
from
time.
from mainnet launch.
Yeah. So none of those are in circulation.
That's right. Founders early team are on 4-year lockup plans. Those would have started whenever the employee started, and typically are 1-year cliff and then monthly unlock. So most of the early team are still locked up with a little bit unlocked so far. And then finally the community token, and then the CoinList sale. Obviously, there was a 3-month and a 6-month. You can go look at their website for that. And then community tokens, all unlocked. So those are all free flowing, and that's kind of the activity you see trading today.
Yeah, pretty small percentage there. Great. And then let's see. I think we kind of addressed this. One of the second questions was like, who's received kind of like the tokens that are in circulation right now, and I think you just answered it, which is like this is early community contributors that earned BTRST for inviting clients, talent, or performing like network functions, like actually screening talent, doing peer-to-peer reviews, etc. Approximately like 3,000 people. 3,000 or so people that have been helping since 2018 when the project was first started. So these have been really early contributors and have done a lot to build the value of the network.
And really, I mean, it's just amazing the role community has played in this project. Yeah. I mean, we only have 25 or so, maybe 30 folks spread across our 6 core teams, right? There's 6 companies around the world that have contributed to Braintrust kind of as a full time. And that's still 30 people, and then you have over 3,000 people in the community that have done the real work, right? Yeah. Have brought in a lot of the talent, the majority of the talent is coming. A lot of these amazing logos, the client logos, have come in through connectors, community members. So it's really like it's in that sense, we've been decentralized for a while, but it's really like any tokens you see out in the float now, that's people who've been sitting there helping us for the last few years.
Totally. I mean, we still spend $0 on paid marketing or advertising, which is unheard of for marketplaces. One of the questions, like with that kind of growth, like the question was like, hey, we see some bots. What's the deal with those bots? Or fake followers just posting like anything ranging from like, when moon to great project, things like that. Maybe you could just like provide a little perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, to celebrate the kind of launch month here in September, we kicked off this 20K BTRST contest where users could watch videos, read our white papers, provide synopsis, follow us on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. The campaign was incredibly successful. I also saw some bot traffic like any of these things do. And so last week, the community's been validating a lot of these entries, cleaning up, some of the fraudulent whatever traffic, and it's been hugely successful. And so they're going to the members of the community who ran that are going to announce these winners next Monday. That'll be September 27th.
Cool. Another question we saw from the community was around like when you look on Etherscan, they were saying like, hey, what are the wallets that have 200K of BTRST in them? Like there's a batch of wallets that have a 200K of BTRST each in them. The question came up from the community, like what's the deal with those?
Yeah, for sure. So, we have to say, like, once these tokens disseminate into the world, like how and where people store them, isn't up to us. Obviously, people store them however they want. My best guess there is that is a security mechanism, using multiple wallets with multiple different providers and whatever, is a way to sort of spread risk. So I think that's, it looks like a security protocol to me.
Got it. The other question was around like, hey, why has support been slow to get back to me? I'll take this one. Yeah. So I think for context, it's hard for folks to know outside of this, but like, the community went from like the community signups went from maybe 100 a week to 100,000 in 24 hours. And so that's an enormous weight, like in a very, very short period of time. Again, there's only like 30 people spread across these 6 teams, and all of the support is handled either by self-serve or by other community members. And so I think it's actually just a result of this enormous influx. And I know that like the community team has been essentially working through support requests, things like that. A lot of them, frankly, like when I looked at a lot of them, are things that are answered in our FAQs, which is published and updated on the site every single day. So I think it's, again, just a function of like, huge growth in a very, very short period of time. And
I would encourage everyone look at the FAQ. We actually like, there's a lot of people in the community who just comb through all the questions and then, get them answered by other folks in the community and then update the FAQ. So it's really like, it's updated almost every day. I would really use that resource.
Yeah.
Next one around, why were Academy rewards turned off?
Yeah.
You want to do this one too,
Yeah,
Gabe?
I'm happy to take that one. So this is actually something we started back, I think it was in sometime mid 2019. We launched the Braintrust Academy, and the intent was to provide learning resources for our community.
And by the way, when we say we, to be clear, it wasn't Gabe and I. It was actually
it was actually done by the community. It
was another member of our community named Shirley, who everybody watching this should know. Shirley's like one of the big faces of the project. But she runs a separate company, totally unaffiliated with us. She thought it would be a great idea to start this thing. It was completely outside of kind of core platform development. We obviously like fully endorsed. We thought it was a great idea, but it's not. It's again a full community effort. It's not not a development team thing.
And so what was happened was it was essentially designed like that community member designed an academy to essentially help educate community members and provide both like kind of hard skills and soft skills training to independents and freelancers that were learning, and also provide resources like about how Braintrust works and how to get hired on Braintrust and how to improve your profiles. So it's really designed to be a learning resource. And we saw the community saw, Shirley and other community members saw that when we hit mainnet, again, some of that same kind of like bot traffic was going there and trying to use it for kind of like unintended usage, and trying to like game the system to earn tokens and things like that. And so no tokens were actually stolen, but on September 3rd, the community members that were involved in that project decided to actually disable token rewards there, to just ensure essentially that the academy was being used for its intended purpose, which is learning.
Last question here is good. We get this, why is there a 24-hour delay on withdrawals? So withdrawal delays are really common security protocol especially with new projects like Braintrust. We get tons of attacks. We also have multiple engineering teams all over the world contributing to this. The Hexocean team, the Snowfork team, a ton of individual freelancers. I'm occasionally an engineering contributor to the project, but it's really a distributed, sort of decentralized team building this. And so the developers that had a hand in this decided, just to be safe, like in case anything crazy happens, we want to have slow withdrawal process, just so like if there's a bug or something, it can be fixed. And so that will eventually, over time, the community, I'm sure, will decide to reduce the delay. So again, it's not up to us. These are decisions made by the core engineering contributors. I think it's a smart idea, but I'm also sure that delay will reduce, pretty soon.
Well, I guess those are kind of the main kind of tiers of questions that we got from the community. Besides, there was of course questions around when Moon, when new exchanges, things like that.
When Lambo.
When Lambo, exactly.
Yeah, as helpful as all those great comments are, guys, we're here to build, right? This is our passion, the whole reason we were, initial contributors to this project is so we could build software that replaces the middleman, right? In marketplaces today, mostly you have a for-profit corporation trying to take as much of the user's income as possible in the form of a fee, and that's their profit. We have created Braintrust as a nonprofit. It's a public good that is meant to erase that middleman, drop the fees as close to zero as possible, and let all of us who are freelancers who make our money by servicing clients like Goldman and Nike and all these other great clients, let us keep as much of our income as possible by owning and operating and maintaining and upgrading this public good called Braintrust. So, like the price of the token and all that stuff, like it just kind of gets noisy, and we're here to build, guys. We want to keep making this protocol better for the thousands and thousands of people that, make a good living by meeting new clients on it. And that was the whole point of this.
Yeah, 100%. This was definitely like a big milestone for the project, with both mainnet and also like exchanges and things like that happening, which is great as a milestone. But honestly, like it feels like just the beginning, right? Like our focus is on the big long-term future of building an enduring project that impacts millions of lives around the world and enables these companies to access the talent that they need. And so our focus always has been and continues to be building a long-term enduring project.
Well, and I want to, let's end here,
Yeah.
most importantly on a note of deep gratitude. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're watching this video, if you got to the end of this rambling 20 minutes or whatever this is, that means you must care about what we're building here, right?
Yep.
And there's no way this project could have gotten as far and as large as it has in the short of time it has without every single one of you,
Yep.
the amazing people in our community contributing to copywriting and UX design and bug fixing and like spreading the word on Twitter and joining our AMAs and and hosting AMAs. I mean, there's so many people localizing a Telegram room for your language and your locale. Like, this is just, we were so impressed by this community. Gabe and I are here for the long haul to grow this thing and really like spread economic opportunity more broadly across the world.
Yeah. So this was our kind of one take, quick response to everyone. We've been working around the clock along with the rest of the community to be able to kind of keep up with all of this growth. Wanted to thank everyone again. And also we're posting this obviously to YouTube. If you're interested in following along, you can hit that subscribe button down there. And we'll continue to post these updates and answer common community questions, both live in these videos and also posted to FAQ. We'll also drop a couple of those links to white paper and token design and the FAQ and BTRST token design all into the comments here, so everyone has those resources. But thank you again, signing off, and we wish you the very best. Take good care.